Are you unknowingly eating foods every morning that are quietly destroying your erections? Most men over 60 have no idea that their breakfast habits are directly damaging their blood flow, lowering testosterone, and making sexual performance harder with each passing year. I see it constantly in my practice. Men trying everything, medications, supplements, even testosterone therapy, but missing one of the simplest fixes hiding in plain sight: what you eat first thing in the morning. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 common breakfast foods that may be killing your erections without you realizing it. We'll talk about how sugar spikes crush your blood vessels, how processed meats and sodium stiffen your arteries, how refined carbs trap your testosterone, and how hidden sugars in dairy and breakfast drinks quietly sabotage your sexual health. Make sure you watch until the very end, because the first food I'll share is the most surprising, and one that almost every man I see is eating without thinking twice. Before we get started, type your city in the comments below. I love seeing where everyone in our glowing age community is watching from. And if you find this video helpful, please like it and subscribe to the channel. This helps me continue bringing you these important lessons to stay strong, confident, and healthy as you age. The silent connection between breakfast and erectile health. What if I told you that the very first thing you put on your plate each morning might be silently weakening your erections? It's one of the most overlooked causes I see in my practice, and most men never suspect that breakfast could be directly sabotaging their sexual performance. Erections are not about willpower or even purely about desire. They are first and foremost a vascular event. Blood flow is the foundation of a healthy erection. When you wake up in the morning, your body is in a delicate state. Your hormones are adjusting. Your blood vessels are just beginning to regulate themselves after several hours of rest. What you eat in these first hours can either support healthy blood circulation or begin damaging it for the rest of the day. Most men over 60 have spent decades following outdated advice about breakfast. We were taught that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And while that may be true, no one ever told us that certain breakfast foods are poisoning our arteries and interfering with our sexual health. When you consume the wrong foods at breakfast, you're not just filling your stomach. You're sending powerful signals to your blood vessels, your hormones, and your nervous system. For men who are already facing age-related declines in testosterone, blood vessel elasticity, and nitric oxide production, these food choices can be devastating. One of the biggest dangers is inflammation. Many common breakfast items trigger an inflammatory response inside your blood vessels. Chronic inflammation makes your arteries stiff, narrow, and less responsive. The tiny blood vessels inside the penis are particularly sensitive. They're some of the smallest and most delicate vessels in the body. When inflammation sets in, they're often the first to lose function. This is why erectile problems are often the earliest sign of cardiovascular trouble. Another hidden consequence of poor breakfast habits is oxidative stress. Certain foods flood your system with unstable molecules called free radicals. These molecules attack the lining of your blood vessels, impairing the release of nitric oxide, the crucial chemical that allows your blood vessels to relax and fill with blood during arousal. Without sufficient nitric oxide, even if you feel desire, your body cannot physically produce a strong, lasting erection. Then there's the hormonal effect. A poor breakfast can disrupt your insulin sensitivity and spike your cortisol levels. Insulin resistance lowers testosterone over time. Elevated cortisol, your primary stress hormone, competes with testosterone, suppressing its production. I see this pattern over and over in my patients. Irregular blood sugar in the morning leads to hormonal shifts that rob them of energy, desire, and erectile strength. And let's not forget hydration status. Many common breakfast drinks are actually dehydrating. Dehydration thickens your blood and restricts blood flow even further, putting more strain on the heart and vascular system. The truth is, what you choose to eat in the morning starts a chain reaction that lasts all day long. If you flood your body with sugars, processed fats, excessive sodium, and harmful additives right after waking, you're loading your system with substances that stiffen your arteries, disrupt your hormones, and impair circulation right from the very first meal. I've worked with many men who were taking medications, supplements, even testosterone therapy. But their breakfast habits were quietly working against everything we were trying to improve. Once we corrected those habits, many saw dramatic improvements in both their energy and their erections, often within just a few weeks. Your breakfast isn't just about calories. It's chemical messaging. It's hormonal signaling. And for men over 60, it can be the difference between struggling with poor performance or maintaining strong, reliable erections well into later life. How sugar at breakfast crushes male performance. You might not realize it, but starting your day with sugar could be one of the fastest ways to sabotage your erections. I see this mistake every day in my patients. Men who are careful about what they eat later in the day, but load up on hidden sugars first thing in the morning without thinking twice. Let's break this down. When you eat a high-sugar breakfast, pastries, sweetened cereals, pancakes dripping with syrup, or even so-called healthy fruit juices, your blood sugar spikes almost immediately. Your pancreas responds by flooding your body with insulin to pull that sugar out of your bloodstream. Now, in the short term, this feels fine. You get a burst of energy, maybe even a mood lift. But inside your arteries, something very different is happening. High insulin levels trigger inflammation in the lining of your blood vessels. This inflammation damages the delicate cells that produce nitric oxide, the critical molecule that allows your blood vessels to relax and fill with blood. Without enough nitric oxide, blood flow to the penis is impaired, making it harder to get and maintain a strong erection. Over time, repeated blood sugar spikes lead to insulin resistance. Your body starts needing more and more insulin to get the same effect. Eventually, this damages your vascular system so thoroughly that even medications may not help. And here's the kicker. Insulin resistance doesn't just harm your blood vessels. It also lowers your testosterone levels. Research shows that men with higher insulin resistance have significantly lower free testosterone, the hormone that fuels libido, muscle mass, energy, and overall vitality. I often remind my patients, testosterone and blood flow work together. You can't have good erections without healthy levels of both. And when you start your day with sugar, you attack both systems before you've even finished your first cup of coffee. What's even more concerning is the hidden sugars. Many men think they're making healthy choices when they reach for low-fat yogurt, granola bars, or fruit-flavored oatmeal. But these are often packed with added sugars, sometimes more than a candy bar. Even that glass of orange juice, marketed for decades as a healthy way to start the day, delivers a sugar load comparable to soda. There's also a psychological effect to consider. Starting your day with sugar sets you up for cravings all day long. Blood sugar spikes are always followed by blood sugar crashes. When your blood sugar crashes, your body craves another quick fix, usually more sugar or refined carbs. This creates a roller coaster of blood sugar swings that exhaust your pancreas, damage your arteries, and wreck your hormonal balance. I've had patients who struggled with fatigue, low libido, poor erections, and even early signs of diabetes, all of which improved dramatically when we simply removed high-sugar foods from their breakfast routines. It doesn't take long to see changes. The vascular system, when given the right conditions, can recover surprisingly fast. For men over 60, this change can be life-altering. You're already dealing with the natural aging process: lower nitric oxide production, slower blood vessel repair, gradual testosterone decline. Why accelerate the damage by pouring sugar into your system first thing in the morning? Choosing a low-sugar, high-protein, nutrient-dense breakfast can stabilize your blood sugar, protect your arteries, support testosterone production, and keep your energy steady throughout the day. It's not about giving up all enjoyment. It's about making smart, strategic choices that protect your body's most sensitive systems. Breakfast isn't just fuel, it's your first line of defense against vascular and hormonal decline. Start wisely, and you set yourself up for better energy, stronger libido, and more reliable erections all day long. The hidden dangers of processed meats and sodium. For many men, a traditional breakfast isn't complete without bacon, sausage, or ham sizzling on the plate. The smell is familiar, comforting even. But what most don't realize is that these very foods are silently damaging their blood vessels, making it harder and harder for their bodies to maintain strong, reliable erections. Let's start with sodium. Processed meats are loaded with it. One serving of bacon or sausage can contain hundreds of milligrams of sodium, and most men don't stop at just one serving. High sodium intake raises your blood pressure, and elevated blood pressure directly affects your ability to achieve an erection. That's because erections depend on your blood vessels expanding, relaxing, and filling with blood. High blood pressure keeps those vessels stiff and narrow, limiting blood flow precisely where you need it most. But sodium is only part of the problem. Processed meats contain nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives used to extend shelf life and enhance flavor. While these compounds help keep your breakfast meats looking fresh, inside your body they can convert into harmful molecules called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines damage the lining of your blood vessels, disrupt nitric oxide production, and increase oxidative stress, all of which directly impair your vascular system and your erections. I've seen this pattern repeatedly in my patients. Men with high blood pressure, poor circulation, and chronic erectile dysfunction often have diets heavy in processed meats. The damage builds slowly, year after year, until their blood vessels lose the flexibility they need to function properly. Once the smaller vessels in the penis are affected, symptoms begin to show, often long before larger cardiovascular problems are diagnosed. Processed meats are also high in saturated fat. Now, fat itself isn't the enemy. Healthy fats are essential for hormone production, including testosterone. But the saturated fats found in processed breakfast meats contribute to cholesterol buildup inside the arteries. Over time, plaque forms, narrowing the arteries and restricting blood flow throughout the body. And because the arteries in the penis are smaller than those leading to your heart, erectile dysfunction often becomes an early warning sign of this vascular damage. What makes matters worse is the combination effect. Many men pair processed meats with refined carbs, sugary drinks, and high-sodium sides, creating a perfect storm for inflammation, poor circulation, and hormonal imbalance. It's not one food choice doing the damage, but the repeated daily habits that compound the problem over time. I tell my patients that making smarter protein choices at breakfast can have an immediate impact. Swapping processed meats for lean, unprocessed options like eggs, turkey, or plant-based proteins reduces sodium, avoids harmful preservatives, and provides your body with clean fuel to support both vascular and hormonal health. And the difference isn't just theoretical. I've seen men experience better energy, improved blood pressure, and stronger erections within weeks of cutting back on processed meats and excess sodium. The body is remarkably responsive when given a chance to heal. Erections are a reflection of vascular health. What seems like a harmless slice of bacon today may be quietly stiffening your arteries, limiting your blood flow, and robbing you of the performance and confidence you deserve. Refined carbs and the testosterone trap. For many men, breakfast seems harmless. A couple slices of toast, a bagel, maybe a quick bowl of instant oatmeal. It feels light, simple, and easy. But underneath these choices hides one of the most common and most dangerous traps for men over 60 who want to protect their erections: refined carbohydrates. Here's what happens the moment you eat refined carbs. Your digestive system breaks them down quickly into glucose, flooding your bloodstream with sugar. That triggers your pancreas to release insulin to pull that sugar out of your blood and push it into your cells. This process is designed to keep your blood sugar in balance. But when you eat refined carbs day after day, year after year, this system becomes worn down. Your body starts to develop what's called insulin resistance. The cells stop responding to insulin efficiently, forcing your pancreas to pump out even more insulin to do the same job. And this is where the trap tightens. High insulin levels don't just affect your blood sugar. They disrupt your hormones, especially testosterone. Research shows a direct link between insulin resistance and lower testosterone. As insulin levels rise, testosterone levels fall. The result is a double hit to your sexual health. Reduced testosterone weakens libido and sexual desire, while impaired blood flow from poor vascular health makes erections harder to achieve and maintain. But there's more. Refined carbs also trigger chronic inflammation throughout your body. Inflammation damages the inner lining of your blood vessels, interfering with nitric oxide production, the very molecule responsible for allowing your blood vessels to relax and fill with blood during arousal. Without nitric oxide, even if your desire is there, your body may simply not respond. This is why I often tell my patients, refined carbs are one of the most dangerous breakfast choices for men concerned about their sexual health. White bread, bagels, muffins, pancakes, sugary instant oats, these are not harmless indulgences. Over time, they erode your vascular health, suppress your testosterone, and rob you of the energy, confidence, and performance you deserve. It's not uncommon for me to see men who feel trapped in a cycle. They eat refined carbs in the morning, experience a brief surge of energy, followed by a crash. That crash triggers cravings for more carbs and sugar later in the day, leading to further blood sugar instability, more insulin resistance, more hormonal disruption, and worsening erectile problems. But the good news is, this cycle can be broken. When my patients replace refined carbs with high-fiber, protein-rich, and nutrient-dense options, I often see remarkable improvements, not just in sexual health, but in weight loss, energy levels, and mood. The body's ability to restore hormonal balance and vascular health is stronger than most men realize, even after 60. Your breakfast choices are not just about feeling full in the morning. They're about setting your hormones, your blood flow, and your energy for the entire day and for your long-term health. By avoiding refined carbs, you protect your testosterone, strengthen your circulation, and give yourself the best chance at maintaining strong, reliable erections for years to come. The impact of certain dairy products on hormones. Many men don't give a second thought to the dairy they consume at breakfast. A little flavored yogurt, some sweetened cream in the coffee, a slice of cheese on a breakfast sandwich. It all seems harmless. But for men over 60 who are already dealing with sensitive hormonal and vascular systems, certain dairy products may quietly disrupt the very balance that supports healthy sexual function. Let's begin with the hidden sugars. Many dairy products marketed for breakfast, like flavored yogurts, fruit-on-the-bottom varieties, or sweetened creamers, are loaded with added sugars. As we've already discussed, sugar drives insulin resistance, inflammation, and hormonal imbalances that attack testosterone and nitric oxide production, two pillars of strong erections. Even a small serving of these products can flood your system with more sugar than you realize, setting off a harmful cascade inside your body. But dairy's impact doesn't stop at sugar. Some dairy products may also influence your hormonal balance more directly. Certain dairy cows are treated with hormones to increase milk production. While regulations exist, traces of these hormones can remain in dairy products. Over time, repeated exposure may interfere with your own endocrine system, especially if your body has become more sensitive to hormonal shifts with age. In some cases, excessive dairy intake may contribute to elevated levels of estrogen-like compounds in the body. Higher estrogen levels in men can lead to lower testosterone, reduced libido, fatigue, and even changes in body composition like increased belly fat or breast tissue. While not every man reacts the same way to dairy, I've seen patients with unexplained hormonal imbalances improve after simply reducing their dairy intake, particularly these heavily processed, hormone-rich versions. Another factor is inflammation. For some men, especially those with a mild lactose intolerance they may not even recognize, consuming dairy triggers low-grade inflammation in the gut. This gut inflammation can spread systemically, quietly fueling the vascular inflammation that stiffens arteries and reduces blood flow where it matters most, including the penis. Remember, the blood vessels involved in erections are highly sensitive to any form of inflammation, even if it's coming from your digestive system. There's also the question of fat quality. Some dairy products are high in saturated fats, and when combined with a diet already heavy in processed foods, this can contribute to cholesterol buildup in the arteries. Over time, this narrows blood vessels, making it more difficult for blood to reach the erectile tissue effectively. Now I want to be clear, not all dairy is harmful. In moderation, full-fat, organic, minimally processed dairy can actually provide valuable nutrients like protein, calcium, and healthy fats that support overall health. The real problem is the overconsumption of processed, sweetened, chemically treated dairy products that dominate most men's breakfast routines without them even realizing it. I always advise my patients to read labels carefully. Look for unsweetened plain varieties. Avoid flavored yogurts packed with sugar. Use real, full-fat creams sparingly instead of artificial creamers filled with chemicals. And most importantly, pay attention to how your body responds. If you notice digestive issues, fatigue, or worsening sexual function, it may be worth experimenting with a reduction in dairy to see if your symptoms improve. For men over 60, every small adjustment can add up to big improvements. By being mindful of the dairy you consume at breakfast, you're not just protecting your digestion, you're safeguarding your hormones, your vascular health, and your ability to maintain strong erections naturally without depending on pills or quick fixes. Caffeinated and artificial breakfast drinks that dehydrate. For many men, the day doesn't truly start until that first cup of coffee. Some reach for energy drinks, others for sugary lattes or flavored bottled teas. These drinks feel like a quick energy boost, a way to shake off the morning fog. But for men over 60, especially those concerned with sexual health, these morning beverages may quietly be doing more harm than good. Let's begin with caffeine. While moderate caffeine intake isn't necessarily harmful, many older men consume far more than they realize. That oversized coffee, followed by a few refills, plus an afternoon pick-me-up, suddenly your caffeine load for the day has doubled or tripled. And high caffeine levels have very real effects on your vascular system. Caffeine stimulates your adrenal glands, triggering the release of cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. When cortisol levels rise, testosterone levels drop. Cortisol and testosterone have an inverse relationship. The more stress your body perceives, the more cortisol it produces, and the less testosterone you have available to support libido, energy, and erectile strength. Beyond hormones, caffeine also acts as a mild diuretic. That means it promotes fluid loss. Even mild dehydration thickens your blood, reduces blood volume, and makes it harder for your heart to pump blood efficiently, all of which directly impact your ability to achieve and maintain an erection. As I often remind my patients, erections are about blood flow first. Thickened, sluggish blood does not support the strong, rapid circulation needed for reliable performance. But caffeine isn't the only concern. Many popular breakfast drinks are loaded with hidden sugars and artificial chemicals. Flavored coffees, sweetened creamers, bottled iced coffees, and energy drinks often contain a dangerous combination of high caffeine and high sugar, a double blow to your vascular system. Sugary breakfast drinks spike your insulin just like sugary foods do, driving insulin resistance and lowering testosterone over time. Artificial sweeteners, though marketed as sugar-free, may still disrupt your gut microbiome, influencing inflammation and even insulin sensitivity, both of which play a role in erectile dysfunction. Then there's the issue of chronic dehydration. Many men over 60 don't realize how easily they slip into mild dehydration throughout the day, especially if they're relying on coffee and energy drinks as their main beverages. When you're dehydrated, your blood vessels can't expand and contract as easily, restricting blood flow right where you need it most during arousal. I've had many patients who came to me with complaints of fatigue, poor sexual performance, and constant energy crashes. When we examined their habits, it wasn't always diet or medication that was the problem. It was the constant cycle of caffeine, sugar, and dehydration wearing down their system slowly but steadily. The good news is, even small changes can lead to big improvements. Limiting your caffeine intake to one moderate cup of coffee in the morning, switching to unsweetened teas, drinking more pure water, and cutting out sugary energy drinks can stabilize your hormones, protect your vascular health, and improve your erections naturally over time. Your morning drink might seem harmless, even comforting. But if you're serious about protecting your sexual health after 60, it's one of the easiest and most powerful places to start making changes. Your blood vessels, your testosterone, and your confidence will thank you. Now you know just how much damage these common breakfast foods can do to your erections, your blood flow, and your testosterone. Small choices every morning build up over time. But the good news is, once you make the right changes, your body can start to repair itself, even after 60. Every meal is a chance to protect your blood vessels, support your hormones, and maintain strong, reliable performance for years to come. You don't need magic pills. You need the right information and daily habits that work with your body, not against it. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe to Glowing Age. Your support allows me to continue sharing these important conversations with more men who deserve honest, practical guidance as they grow older. And don't forget, drop your city in the comments. I always enjoy seeing where everyone is tuning in from. I'll see you in the next video.